Site for Wight Talking News for Friday the 11th of December 2020.
Alison reading an article from the Isle of Wight Observer entitled "The Vaccine is Coming." The first 975 doses of Pfizer-BioNTech COVID vaccine will arrive on the island at the beginning of next week. And in a further boost, the island's positivity rate is now 16.2 per 100,000 residents, the lowest in England, compared to Portsmouth 141 and Southampton 66. Simon Bryant, the island's Director of Public Health, speaking after a local outbreak engagement board meeting yesterday, confirmed the vaccine will be rolled out from the University Hospital Portsmouth NHS Trust, the nearest hospital hub to the island. The go-ahead to split the packs of 975 vaccines still needs to be given by the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, the MHRA. But once they are split up, they can be moved to vaccine centres around the island. There are expected to be 3 main centres at the Riverside Centre Newport, Westridge Centre Ryde, and the West Wights Sports and Community Centre, although this has not been officially confirmed. A formal announcement is expected today or tomorrow. The first doses will be stored in the Carisbrooke surgery and then distributed to the west and central areas of the island. A second batch will be received later next week, with a third arriving a week later, starting Monday, December the 21st. Clinical Chair of the NHS Isle of Wight Clinical Commissioning Group, Dr Michelle Legg, a GP at the Tower House Surgery in Ryde, speaking earlier in the week, said it was still too early to confirm who would receive the vaccination first. She said it was going to be the care home group of vulnerable people. Now, however, because of the nature of the vaccine and how it needs to be stored and only transferred a few times, this has changed. The cohort which NHS England has designated to be vaccinated first in the community is the over 80s who are not the housebound. They will be invited to vaccination a couple of weeks before Christmas. After that, there are several other categories who will be vaccinated next. As the island's fight against COVID finally appears to be gaining strength, there was more good news from Island Council leader Dave Stewart, who confirmed positivity rates continue to fall. Even though the number of cases is rising, the island's 7-day infection case rate of 100,000 per 100,000 is falling, having decreased to 31 per 100,000 on November the 28th, to its latest position at 16.2. He said, "We are in an extremely encouraging position on the island because everyone has followed the rules regarding safety, and we all want to stay in Tier 1. Our COVID rate is 16.2, which is really low, and this would never have been achieved unless people were doing the right thing. We continue to watch carefully what is happening with the perception of visitors coming to the island. We certainly don't want people here on booze cruises, but we continue to move in the right direction. There is another review next week when we should remain in Tier 1, and although there may be a spike over Christmas, as long as people keep up the precautions and we stay in Tier 1 come January, that should see us through." It has also been confirmed that local contact tracers are now in action on the island after an initial delay when it was thought that there was less need for them. The contact tracers have been following up cases for a week.
This is Howard reading an article from the Island Echo on an ambulance decontamination pilot project underway on the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight NHS Trust has become the first in the UK to launch an ambulance decontamination programme for all emergency and non-emergency vehicles. The programme, which uses peroxide hydrogen peroxide vapour (HPV) technology to remove viral and bacterial microorganisms from vehicles, aims to ensure the same standards of clinical decontamination are maintained across all patient care services inside and outside the hospital. Developed by leading UK-based infection prevention and control company Inivos, Proxide is designed to effectively decontaminate clinical and public environments of potentially dangerous microorganisms, including the SARS-CoV-2 pathogen, which causes the COVID-19 virus. Already in use in hundreds of hospitals across the UK, HPV technology can reduce viruses and bacteria to safe non-infective levels in under 2 hours by breaking down their genetic code. It also deactivates and removes the HPV from the environment at the end of a decontamination cycle, meaning emergency responders don't need to wait for vapour to dissipate naturally before the vehicle is back in commission. The mobile decontamination robot is remote controlled to ensure operator safety and provides validation reports at the end of each cycle, so paramedics can be confident that a decontaminated vehicle is safe for patients to enter. Andrew Donegan, Head of Facilities at Isle of Wight NHS Trust, says, "We're proud to be the first NHS Trust to take this step to decontaminate ambulances in this innovative way, meaning our emergency staff can carry out their work in a safe environment that matches that of their hospital-based colleagues, and our patients can be confident they're receiving care to the highest standards of infection control." As we already use Proxide Ultra-V and ProxSpot technology across the hospital to decontaminate shared patient equipment, it was a natural next step to extend that high standard of decontamination to our emergency vehicles. This is made possible by our unique identity as England's only integrated acute, community, mental health and ambulance healthcare provider, providing a wide range of health services. Totvidas Karitonis, Head of Research and Development at Inivos, adds, "We're so pleased that the Isle of Wight have launched this innovative and forward-thinking pilot programme to bring the same high standard of clinical decontamination from the hospital out to emergency responder and patient transport vehicles. Our ultraviolet C and hydrogen peroxide vapour technologies are already used by more than a third of NHS trusts. However, we believe that clinical decontamination technology will soon become the norm in clinical services of all kinds, as forward-thinking trusts like Isle of Wight look to secure best in-class technology to ensure the continued health and well-being of their patients during this pandemic."
This is Den reading an article from the Isle of Wight Observer. Compton Bay Monolith. It arrived, it was seen and nearly conquered. The Compton Beach Monolith, which has brought global attention to the island, was turned into a pile of rubble but has been resurrected again. The mirrored structure, designed by island designer Tom Dunsford, 29, arrived in a veil of secrecy in the early hours of Sunday morning and sparked worldwide conspiracy theories. Tom initially claimed to have spotted it on an early Sunday morning walk, saying he had no idea who put it there, but on Tuesday, after a global whodunit, he confessed. The mirrored structure on Compton Beach was around 7.5 feet high by 2 feet wide and stood on a wooden plinth. Similar monoliths have appeared in Utah and Romania, prompting speculation they have been put there by aliens, and these were the inspiration for Tom's structure. However, things quickly started to go wrong, and graffiti was sprayed on the structure overnight on Tuesday, and by yesterday morning, Thursday, it had toppled over onto the sand. However, he turned up in the afternoon to clean it and put it back upright. Tom, a designer for the Meeting Pod company at Westridge Business Park, Ryde, owned up to how he set up the prank. He said, "I knew about the other monoliths, and I got a text from a friend who said I was the man to do something on the island. I was walking back to the office recently when I noticed we had a sheet of mirrored perspex, and I had this light bulb moment, and it went from there. I've always had a creative streak and just wanted to give it a go. Once it was built, I got a few friends together and we drove down to Compton around 4 a.m. on Sunday morning to set it all up. I never imagined this whole scheme would go global." The monolith was visited by crowds of people throughout the week, and once again, for now, is back looking at its best.
This is an article from the Island Echo, read by Terry. New Britain-Norman Islander plane delivered to Falklands. Britain-Norman has delivered the first of 2 new Islander planes to the Falkland Islands. The aircraft will be used in a variety of roles, including to meet the Falkland Islands' increasing popularity as a holiday destination. The new BN2B-26 Islander aircraft has gone to the Falkland Islands Government Aviation Service, known as FIGAS, F-I-G-A-S. The Islanders' ability to operate with ease as a high-frequency, short-sector passenger and freight aircraft has made it ideal for hopping around the dramatic landscape. The second Islander is scheduled for delivery in 2021. FIGAS is Britain-Norman's southernmost operator and has employed islanders since the 1970s. The current fleet of 4 islanders serve in a variety of roles and are essential in keeping the Falklands and some of its more remote communities connected. In addition to commuting flights, regular missions include air ambulance, postal carrier, freight, environmental monitoring and scenic flights. The new Islander's registration honours Sir Miles Clifford, whose name has been inscribed above the pilot's door.
Alison reading from an article from the Isle of Wight Radio entitled Festive Pop Up Shops Up and Running on the Isle of Wight. 2 pop-up shops have been officially opened in Newport, which will sell festive items made on the Isle of Wight. Shops at 30 and 36 High Street provide 2 seasonal venues for shoppers to explore goods, including festive decorations, children's toys, fudge, leather handbags, wire-wrap jewellery and ceramics, all from local providers and with the majority made on the island. The pop-up shops are in the old Laura Ashley building and further down the High Street near the Guildhall. Support for the Newport pop-up shops has come through the Shaping Newport Partnership, a joint project of Newport and Carisbrooke Community Council, the Isle of Wight Council and Newport Business Association. Newport Councillor Julie Jones-Evans, who officially opened the shops on Tuesday the 8th of December, said, "This is a brilliant initiative on so many levels, bringing more choice to Christmas shopping, reusing empty shops and supporting small local businesses. Despite the pandemic, I am delighted to see such enthusiasm from artisans and businesses coming forward to set up in Newport High Street. You can't quash that entrepreneurial spirit, and maybe this taste of retail might lead some to take the next step to have their own shop. The roomy spaces inside these 2 high street venues will allow shoppers to be socially distanced and shop safely too." Leader of the Isle of Wight Council, Councillor Dave Stewart, added, "These attractive new pop-up shops go alongside the free parking opportunities we are delivering in Newport and across the island this month. These are examples of how the Isle of Wight Council is aiming to get the island's retail business back on its feet in a COVID-secure way as we keep the island safe. I'm proud to be working with the Shaping Newport partners on this. Between us, we are really making a positive difference for those visiting Newport High Street this festive season."
This is Howard reading an article from the Island Echo about a new footbridge at Alveston. Work by Island Roads to upgrade a key section of the Sandown to Newport cycle track has been completed. In partnership with the Isle of Wight Council, Island Roads has replaced the former footbridge over the Eastern Yar at Alveston with a new, longer, wider version, also including higher parapets, making it suitable for use by horse riders as well as cyclists and pedestrians. For the first time, it will now be possible for ridden horses to follow the whole route from Shide to Sandown along the track. Horse riders on the island and beyond have been involved in the planning and delivery of the new bridge section, and the work was delivered with the support and cooperation of the Isle of Wight Bridleways Group and British Horse Society. Both organisations also made a financial contribution to the scheme. The work was completed on schedule despite periods of flooding during heavy rainfall in November. This section of the cycle track lies within a floodplain, and the new bridge has been raised slightly to keep it clear of floodwater. Doing so not only means it's less likely to be rendered impassable because of high waters, it's also less prone to damage or to affecting the river flow. The original bridge was due to be refurbished by Island Roads under the Highways PFI contract, but the council stepped in to provide additional funding for the replacement project. Ian Hodson, Island Roads Structures Manager, says, "While we've been undertaking work, it's been necessary to close the track at this point, so we'd like to thank those who have helped us by following the signed diversion. We hope cyclists, pedestrians and horse riders will agree the small period of inconvenience was more than offset by the benefits of a new, more accessible bridge." Ian Ward, Cabinet Member responsible for the Highways PFI, said, "We're delighted that by working with Island Roads, we've been able to deliver an enhanced scheme that increases access to our magnificent countryside. I'd also like to acknowledge the contributions from the Isle of Wight Bridleways Group and the British Horse Society, and we look forward to working with them again in the future."
This is Den reading an article from Isle of Wight Radio. Isle of Wight Waste and Recycling Collections for 2020. Islanders are being advised that waste recycling and garden subscription collections are changing over the Christmas and New Year period. But the Isle of Wight Council says many households will only see 1 week of change to their usual waste collection day. Between Monday the 21st and Friday the 25th of December, all households will have their bins collected on a different day than normal. For most people, this will simply be a day earlier. However, collections due on Monday the 21st of December will instead be on Saturday the 19th of December. Collections then return to normal the following week, other than those whose homes with collections due on Friday the 1st of January, with waste and recycling collections that day being completed on Saturday the 2nd of January instead. All collections return to normal the following week from Monday the 4th of January 2021. Garden waste collections will also follow the same amended timetable. If you have a garden waste subscription, you can pop your real Christmas tree out alongside your garden bin for recycling. To assist residents with their waste and recycling, households will be allowed to place excess polystyrene in a clear or white sack between Saturday the 19th of December and Friday the 8th of January on their refuse day collection week only. Excess polystyrene or other waste placed in black sacks will not be collected. Afton Marsh Recycling Centre, Freshwater, will open as usual on its normal opening days and hours. Lynn Bottom Recycling Centre near Newport will be open as normal other than on Christmas Day when it will be closed. Bulky waste collections will run as normal other than on Christmas Day and New Year's Day when they will be unavailable. Natasha Dix, the Council's Waste and Environment Manager, said, "The Christmas period can mean more waste, but like the rest of the year, we can still recycle most of it if we all put it in the right bins. You might not be sure where to put some of the seasonal things, maybe wrapping paper or bubble wrap, so check the Council website for the definitive list. Get your waste sorted and we can maintain the island's position as one of the leading counties for recycling across England, even at Christmas." More information on waste collections can be accessed at www.iwight.com/waste.
This is an article from the Isle of Wight County Press, read by Terry. Be aware, Scammers won't take Christmas off. Christmas may be coming, but scammers won't be taking any time off. That is the Be Alert message from Isle of Wight Against Scams Partnership, IWASP. They have highlighted a few scams for people to be aware of, and as always, they're asking people to be vigilant when dealing with unsolicited contact by either phone, email, or text. They have had reports of scammers pretending to be the telephone preference service and trying to charge for the service. Ironically, the TPS is designed to reduce unwanted calls and is totally free. Don't be tricked into paying for any type of call blocking service over the phone. There have been worrying reports of callers purporting to be from the Isle of Wight Council, threatening the police if payment isn't made. This is a scam. The Isle of Wight Council would never operate in this way. The HMRC scam call appears to be back again, telling worried residents they owe money and there is a warrant out for their arrest, and they can pay by purchasing Xbox vouchers. This is a scam. No legitimate organisation would behave in this way. And lastly, some old favourites. Emails purporting to be from the DVLA and the TV licensing to say that your payment hasn't gone through and to click on a link to make a payment before your licence is cancelled. Never click on links in emails. Check the email address of the sender to ensure that it is a valid email address. For further information around staying safe from scams, go to www.iwasp.org.uk.
Alison reading an article from On the Wight entitled Winter Support for Struggling Residents, launched by Isle of Wight Council. The scheme comprises a planned programme of supportive measures, mainly but not exclusively targeting families with children over the winter. A new initiative to help families and individuals who are facing hardship because of the coronavirus pandemic is being launched by the Isle of Wight Council. The second phase of our Connect for Communities will be a community-based programme driven by the Isle of Wight Council, working with community, voluntary and charity partners. Funded by the £456,845 winter grant scheme awarded to the authority by the Department for Work and Pensions, the DWP, the scheme comprises a planned programme of supportive measures, mainly but not exclusively targeting families with children over winter. At least 80% of the total funding will go towards families with children, with up to 20% allocated for other households in need, including individuals such as care leavers. The Connect for Communities programme will be delivered across the island through a range of sources, including schools and voluntary groups, and will comprise providing vouchers, payment cards for fuel, energy and water bills, expanding the Christmas school holiday support for the school holidays in 2021 to include providing a daily hot meal and fun, educational activities and play schemes, supporting organisations to help vulnerable households through community grants, setting up a Connect for Communities online directory for residents to search by postcode to find where they may be able to access financial and other support and subsidised food. Other activities include grants for community and voluntary organisations such as the Citizens Advice Bureau. These funds will help those in need with food, energy and water bills and essential items such as warm clothing, bedding or slow cookers for households who do not have basic cooking facilities. Voluntary and third sector organisations who know their communities best and are in the ideal position to provide support are encouraged to apply for grants via the website. Councillor Paul Brading, Cabinet Member for Children's Services, Education and Skills, said, "I have no hesitation in supporting this initiative. 2020 has been a tough year with unprecedented challenges for everyone, but there are many people for whom it has been especially tough. As a result, many people find themselves facing difficulties they could not have imagined. Connect for Communities is not a handout, but a helping hand for island families who are struggling to pay for basic essentials like food and fuel to keep their homes warm. The aim is to support those in need, particularly during the school holidays, and help ensure vulnerable children and young people do not go without the necessities. We've already announced in Phase 1 support directly through schools with food vouchers and discretionary grant schemes, and we have several more exciting projects in the pipeline which will roll out over the coming months, each one addressing specific needs and helping to build resilience in communities affected by COVID-19. People who need further support over the Christmas period on the island should contact the Help Through Crisis team at Citizens Advice Isle of Wight on 01983 823859 during business hours, or apply on the website Isle, spelt ISLE, help.me.
This is Howard reading an article from the Isle of Wight Observer. The custody centre in Newport was described as the busiest in Hampshire on Saturday night, following a spate of public order incidents in Ryde and Newport. There was a spate of drunk and disorderly behaviour in Newport, as well as 2 males from Portsmouth who were arrested for fighting. A police spokesman said, "The majority of our night has been spent dealing with drunken disorder in Newport and Ryde. We've had numerous public order incidents in Newport tonight. I've dealt with some drunken juveniles and also drunken adults who have no idea where they live, and the late and night shifts have made several arrests around the public order issues in the town. 2 males from Portsmouth are currently in our custody following a fight in the town centre and several COVID breaches. Our custody centre is currently the busiest in Hampshire, as we have individuals in for public order, COVID breaches, breaches of various court orders and domestic assault. We appreciate everyone wants to enjoy the island's Tier 1 freedom, but please be responsible if you're out."
This is Den reading an article from the Isle of Wight County Press. Isle of Wight athletes must wait for Island Games. Isle of Wight sportspeople will not get a chance to compete in the Island Games until 2023. The International Island Games Association announced last night that the Guernsey Games, which were due to have taken place next year, have been postponed to 2023. In the wake of the global pandemic, organisers have been working to get the Games back on track, but said they have come to the decision to plan for 2023. The plan for future Games will be to move forward by 2 years. Orkney will be 2025, Inns Mons in Anglesey will be 2027, and the Isle of Man will become the preferred host for 2029. This decision has been reached after an extensive consultation with all of the member islands, as well as the organising committees for Guernsey, Orkney and Inns Mons and the lead sponsors, NatWest International. The chair of the IIGA, Jorgen Petersen, confirmed that it had not been an easy decision. He said, "Although the outcome for the consultation supported 2023, we have tried hard to find solutions in order to do what we are meant to be doing, develop sports within our islands." Kevin Winchcombe, chair of the Isle of Wight Island Games Executive, welcomed the decision. He said some member sports had wanted an earlier restart, but all accepted the decision. He said, "This gives us time for athletes to save up to go to the Games, time for businesses to recover from the pandemic and hopefully support the IW team. It takes 18 months to prepare for a Games, and if we had tried to fit another one in before then, we would have ended up organising 2 games at the same time. Kevin said he aimed to build teams and infrastructure to support the athletes in the meantime. I am hoping we will see young sports people coming through in that time. Take Henry McLuckie, the runner, who came to Gibraltar at the age of 15 in 2019. He has come on incredibly since then and gained a lot from soaking up the atmosphere of a major championships. I am hoping there are others like him out there in all the 14 sports the Games cover. Kevin said that when COVID restrictions permitted, he aimed to bring all possible supporters of the Games together at an event in 2021.
This is an article from On the Wight, read by Terry. Plans for affordable homes at Branston approved. The properties will be built by Vectis Housing Association for those already on the island, already registered with the GP and already driving a car, says Councillor Mosdell. Affordable homes will be built on the Isle of Wight once again after unanimous approval was given to a scheme in Branston. The Isle of Wight Council's Planning Committee on Tuesday gave permission for 42 affordable houses at the former school trip destination Branston Farm Studies Centre. Part of the government's Getting Building project, £2.4 million has been awarded for the site, which will also see most of the former farm buildings demolished and turned into office units for a rural business park. Martin Pearl, Chief Executive of Vectis Housing Association, which will be building the housing, said from the start of the scheme it was important to do justice to the ecology of the site, the biosphere designation for the island, and provide much-needed homes. He said, affordable homes are absolutely critical on the island at the moment, and Vectis are key providers. They will be affordable, they will be for local people, and we will look to not only provide homes, but develop the community. One objector, however, said he found it difficult to understand why this location was suitable for 42 homes, as it is isolated and requires a car to get to local amenities, and questioned whether, if the land had been owned or developed by someone other than the council, approval would be given. Another objector said there was no such thing as affordable housing, as developers aim to make as much profit as possible, and any references to it were a music hall joke. This part of the island is essentially rural and should remain so. The visual impact of such homes and businesses would detract from the rural scene. Affordable houses are those which are rented out at typically no more than 80% of the market rent for the property, but on the island it has been suggested it should be reduced further to around 60%, as islanders on low incomes cannot afford much more. In the last 3 years, only 50 affordable homes have been built, and planning officers said this development would hold substantial weight in meeting the island's needs. Councillor Claire Mosdell, the ward member, spoke passionately to the planning committee, asking them to approve the houses, as this was a chance to bring life back to Branston. She said, "The number of families registered on Island Home Finders is 958. The number of children under the age of 18 who are not the applicant in these families is 1,904. Please do not make me listen to discussions if there is a need in rural communities for affordable houses. Do not make me listen to if our health system can take any more. This housing is for those already on the island, already registered with the GP and already driving a car. Councillor Richard Hollis, a member of the committee, said he was not sure building any form of housing estate on farmland was preserving the rural character and did not want this development setting a precedent that is almost a free-for-all for building on agricultural land. But he thought this was too good an opportunity to pass up. Mr. Pearl said development could start as soon as February if the grant from Homes England goes through.
Hello, this is Lisa, CEO of Site for Wight, introducing you to this week's Talking News. With most events now being virtual, this week we went live on Facebook and YouTube with our awards ceremony for our 2020 short story writing competition. What an evening! Songs from Hannah the Vintage Songbird, guitarist and vocalist Ben Stubbs, and Isle of Wight singer Kelly Burke. A huge thank you to all three island artists and of course to our celebrity readers, Joe Brand, Ray Allen, Melvin Hayes and Adana Minghella. Further thanks go to Howard for his rather raunchy A Week Before Christmas poem, which certainly got noticed. Congratulations to everyone who entered and to our 4 category winners. Isabel Woodford, who won the Under 12s category, so she will have her story printed by the Isle of Wight County Press. Be careful what you wish for. Charlotte Wilson, who won the Young Person category with her story I Wish I Had One More Day. Claudia Summers, who won the Highly Commended category with her poem Whale Song. And finally, Fred Canavan, who is a second-time winner of the Adult category with his story When I Wish Upon a Star. If you missed the event, it can now be found on our website, our YouTube channel, and it will be played out on Talking News over the Christmas period. This week also saw the conclusion of the 125-year birthday raffle, with Colin Biles winning the first prize of £125, and members, volunteers and supporters winning the other 125 individual prizes we were donated. The generosity of people never ceases to amaze me. When I said 3 months ago I wanted 125 prizes, no one believed that we could actually do it, but we did. As we draw closer to Christmas, there are many virtual events going ahead. This week I watched my children in their school carol concert. Of course, there was no actual singing allowed, but instead every child was encouraged to learn an instrument, and they all pulled together in this musical carol concert. Whilst the sounds of the younger ones playing their recorders is a sound that will be with me for a while, the point is the school didn't just stop their usual tradition, they just changed how to make it COVID secure, while still creating something pupils and parents could enjoy alike. With the news of the vaccine, perhaps next year we can look forward to more face-to-face meetings. But in the meantime, stay safe. Thank you. Lisa.
Hello, I'm Elaine Bricknell and I've recently joined Site for Wight to take on the new role of Befriending Manager. Before I took on this role, I had retired from a long career working in education and was volunteering in the Dress for Less shop. I am lucky to have a very close family and 4 wonderful grandchildren. I love sports and have been playing competitive badminton all my life. Spending time with my friends and family is so important to me and my well-being. During lockdown, it really hit me how isolated and lonely some people have become, particularly the most vulnerable in our society. I'm excited to develop the role of Befriending Manager and to recruit volunteers to befriend our members. The main part of my role will be to recruit volunteers and to match them up with members, supporting them both. The aim is to reduce feelings of loneliness and isolation by providing members with a regular phone call from a friendly volunteer. If you feel that you would benefit from a regular phone call, or you feel that you could offer some time to call other members as part of the Befriending service, I would really love to hear from you. We are looking for people who have excellent listening skills and enjoy a good phone call. You need to be able to show your telephone friend respect, patience, empathy and understanding. Full training and support on how to undertake the role will be given. Once I have recruited the Befriending volunteers, I will be in contact with members to match you up if you would like a regular phone call. All the information that I'm talking about will be in the December newsletter. But if you would like any further information about the new service, then please do not hesitate to contact me, Mrs. Elaine Bricknell. Call the office on 522205. Thank you, and I hope you all have a very happy Christmas and a healthy new year.
Scaffolding news for week commencing the 14th of December. Newport area, 66 St James's Street, 54 Fairley Road, 63 High Street, Halifax High Street. Ventnor area, 2 Duke's Cottage, Clarence Road, 26 St Catherine Street. Shanklin area, 9 Regent Street, 49 High Street. Sandown area, 2 Pier Street, Wight City, Culver Parade, 20 High Street. Ryde area, 11-12 Esplanade, 9 Cross Street, 168A High Street, 51 George Street. Cowes area, Ropeworks Court, Mill Hill Road, Carphone Warehouse, the High Street, NatWest Bank, the High Street, The Lodge, Church Road. Freshwater area, 3A Clarence Buildings, the Avenue. Skip news, Cowes area, 1 Consort Road, 72 High Street. Gurnard area, 101 Pallants Road. Seaview area, outside of Woodlands, Ryde Road. Sandown area, Sandown Pier.
Sight for Wight would like to thank you for listening to this week's edition of the Talking News. We would also like to thank our volunteers for reading, and a particular thank you to the Isle of Wight County Press, Isle of Wight Observer, On the Wight, Island Echo and Isle of Wight Radio. A special thank you must go to Vexis Radio, who has helped us get vital information to our members. Goodbye for now.